Okay, let's go ahead and get started. A joint public agency meeting for October 25, 2018 will now be underway. By way of introduction, I'm Tim Clare. I'm the vice chair, sitting in for Chair Mayor Chris Beitler, who's not here. And on my left, your right, is Carl Eskridge from the City Council, the other member to the joint public agency. The open meetings law is posted by the door in the back. Public comment. The individuals from the audience will be given a total of 5 minutes to speak on specific items listed on today's agenda. Those testifying should identify themselves for the record. We'll begin with reports received. Number 3, unless you've got anything further.
No.
Number 3, we have a letter from BKD. What do I need to do on the letter from BKD specifically? It summarizes the scope and timing for the August 31 audit. Are you going to talk about that today?
I don't know there's really anything to talk about. It's just a notification from them as far as the scope. As you can see from the agenda, no action is required on this item.
Okay.
It's just brought to the board for your attention, and they'll proceed.
Okay, thank you.
Looks like they're talking about that the audit will be to us in December or first of the year, sometime like that.
Yeah, the letter was dated October 11, and they've indicated in the letter that their report will be delivered to us by January. Final reports will be issued in January 2019.
Okay.
Okay, approval of minutes from the JPA meeting held September 25, 2018.
So moved.
I'll second. Any comments?
No.
Can I let's see, we'll do roll call, I guess, next.
Eskridge?
Yes.
Clare?
Yes. Okay, next item up is the resolution approving the amended equipment lease from SMG and the West Haymarket Joint Public Agency to allow SMG to lease surplus trucks and a trailer for use at Pinnacle Bank Arena. This is WH 18-22.
Chris Connolly, Chief Assistant City Attorney. We're going to ask to table this for the time being. This is a matter that we are deeming to be an arena-related matter, which would require a unanimous vote of all representatives eligible to vote, so that would include the mayor. So we're going to need to hold off on this for the time being.
Okay.
It shouldn't create any complications for SMG.
Okay. Do we need to vote on whether we allow the table, or are you just pulling it and so we don't have to do anything, just Robert's Rules of Orders?
To do a motion to table it for the following month, I think that would be sufficient.
Okay.
Right.
That's why I was asking.
Okay.
So
move.
I'll second it. Any discussion? Do we have to have public comment?
Yes.
Is there any public comment on us tabling this motion?
Are the mics on? I can't hear a word.
Yeah.
Don't know.
They don't seem to be functioning. Here, there we go.
Now they are. Sorry.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for.
I thought I was going stone deaf.
I wonder too.
Okay, so you are renegotiating this, is that it?
I guess what I would suggest for the benefit of the board is that we take up whatever comments about the item itself for next month when all the members are here, number one. And so it seems to me that whatever comments are being made here relate only to the motion to table it. So I'm going to hold off answering
Okay.
Okay. Any more public comment? Okay, call the roll.
Eskridge?
Yes.
Clare?
Yes. Next item up, so that item is tabled until next month's meeting. Next item up is WH 18-23. It's a resolution approving the right of entry agreement between the West Haymarket Joint Public Agency and Project Oscar 2.0. LLC to enter upon property legally described as Lot 3, West Haymarket, 5th Edition, to conduct site preparation and construction operations on the property. Tim?
Tim C., City Law Department. This is a right of entry agreement similar to what was approved, I think, in September. I think it was, maybe it was August. Then in September, the board approved the redevelopment agreement for this project. This would allow the Project Oscar 2.0 and their representatives to go on the site, conduct any further testing, any site preparation activities, as well as to start construction on the project prior to the closing of the property actually happening, which we anticipate will happen shortly after the first of the year. This would allow them to proceed yet this fall and into December prior to that closing actually occurring. Be happy to answer any questions you might have.
What types of things would they be going on the property for exactly?
I think the demo will happen, and then there's maybe some grading or some compaction. They could even start with footings and foundations for the building, but the right of entry does prohibit them from doing any vertical construction, any steel erection or anything like that.
And the idea of that is to enable them to just try to get a head start on some of the preliminary matters before the weather turns too cold?
Right, and they've got a fairly aggressive timeline about getting that building open, so they need to get started as soon as they can.
Any risks from legal on whether or not, I mean, this is going to close, obviously.
It's going to close. We anticipate the deeds and everything will be placed into escrow sometime in the middle of November, along with the purchase price, and then that will be released after the first of the year. There's some financial implications that make it advantageous to them to close after the first of the year. There is a provision in the right of entry agreement that says if we get to the point where they don't want to, they aren't going to construct the building, they would be required to return the property back to its present condition, so that the JPA is not on the hook for doing that.
Okay.
And in terms of their schedule, my recollection is they hope to have it built by the end of next year?
I think that's correct. I think they want to open sometime in January of 2020.
Okay.
Anything else? Public comment. Is there any public comment on this? Seeing none, call the roll, please.
Eskridge?
Yes.
Claire?
Yes. Okay. WH 18-24. It's a resolution authorizing the chair and/or purchasing agent to enter into a unit price contract with MTZ Construction for an amount not to exceed $14,385 to remove and replace brick pavers in the courtyard and throughout the West Haymarket District pursuant to bid number 16-285. Caleb?
Caleb Swanson with PC Sports. This is a contract that has been tentatively procured but not executed with MTZ Construction, utilizing purchasing department's unit price procurement policies and procedures. What this is addressing is some localized areas both in the plaza to the south of the arena, as well as a couple other spot locations throughout the West Haymarket District where we've seen over the past 5 to 6 years some settling where unit pavers meet curbs and where they meet other existing gray sidewalk. Similar to where you just see with sidewalks in any downtown area, you see settlement, especially with freeze-thaw cycles, causes trip hazards. So this is just a project that has identified some of those locations with the unit pavers that would come in, that would remove those settling pavers, readdress the settling base underneath, and then relay the pavers to eliminate those trip hazards. This project we're also requesting would be funded by the West Haymarket JPA endowment. And I can go into some of the language, if you'd like, on the endowment statement and the fund statement, but this is exactly the kind of project that endowment was created to help support, to make sure that when these issues to some of these enhanced areas require maintenance, require some attention that's above and beyond your typical, street maintenance, that there would be funds available to take care of that, to make sure that this area stays well maintained and safe for the general public. So. If it's germane to the topic, just a little information on that endowment that was created in the end of 2016, December of 2016. So it's been in existence for a little less than 2 years. I don't yet have the Q3 fund balance information from the foundation yet, but as of the end of Q2 of 2018, the fund balance was just below 2.1 million. So in about a year and 3/4 time, there's been about $100,000 in appreciation to the value of that fund balance. So this would be utilizing some of those funds. There have not been any other draws against that endowment fund to date. So,
Okay.
any questions?
No,
Carl?
sounds good.
Well, is there anything from the public?
Jane Kinsey with Watchdogs. So does this have to do with the backfill?
It could be some issue where there might have been some localized settlement of some backfill. It might be an issue where oftentimes, just like with sidewalks, you'll see that water will get in underneath, through the pavers, around the pavers, just like it does in streets and sidewalks. And over multiple freeze-thaw cycles, which we experience obviously here, you just get some of that differential settling and heaving, just like you do on a sidewalk on your driveway. And so this is just in the pavers, and so we're addressing that.
Okay. How large of an area is this?
It's multiple small areas. It's not one large failed area, so it's not anything that we, looking at, believe that there was a massive failure or anything that was done incorrectly. It's several small areas, multiple small areas. I don't have a map showing all of those areas, but there's lots of small sections where just little areas have seen some of that settlement.
And when you say courtyard, do you mean like the rail yard?
No, the courtyard is what I should have said is I guess the plaza space. So on the south side of the arena, between the arena and R Street, there's a large expanse of unit pavers that also help with collecting them. A lot of them are pervious, so they collect a lot of the storm water and channel it into some of those silva cells for that stormwater treatment. So it's some of those as well.
Mm-hmm. So all you would see is that you just remove these and replace. There's no kind of other remediation?
The pavers would be pulled back, and then whatever issue we're experiencing with the aggregate underneath with the base, that will be corrected, and then the same pavers will go back in place. So we're not purchasing new pavers. We'll reuse the pavers themselves.
Over ones?
Right, because there's nothing wrong with those. It'll just be correcting the grade underneath.
Okay. So basically the land.
Yeah, whether it's soils or some of the aggregate rock bases that are underneath. That's what will be corrected.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
And the pavers, they also go to on the east side, don't they? Don't they extend? They're not just on the south end. It's kind of southeast and then a little bit to the south or on the east side too?
The east side by the ramp?
Yeah.
I think they extend to the east. I don't think they go north underneath the ramp.
Right, but up to about that point.
Right, yeah, this will address all the paver settlement issues that are in that whole plaza, and then some other locations along R and Canopy streets.
Okay. Any other comments?
No?
Okay. We need a motion.
So moved?
And I'll second. Call the roll, please.
Eskridge?
Yes.
Claire?
Yes. Okay, next up is WH 18-25. It's a resolution authorizing the chair and/or purchasing agent to enter into a unit price contract with Nebraska Nursery for an amount not to exceed $1,772.24 to remove and replace a dead tree in the Pinnacle Bank Arena courtyard pursuant to bid number 16-290. Caleb.
Caleb Swanson again with PC Sports. Similar in procedure, this is a contract that was procured through the city's purchasing department unit price policies. And Nebraska Nursery was the apparent low responsive bidder. And this is to replace one of the trees that is in the plaza to the south of the arena. It's located in one of the retention silva cells that's in that area, which makes it a little bit more complicated than just a typical dig out of your yard and put back kind of tree. We're also replacing it at the same caliper or size that the trees now are, which is closer to a 4-inch tree as opposed to, I think they're about 2 inches when they went in. So it is a little bit more expensive of a tree, but the intent is to get it back to where it should be to fit the area and not look out of place, I guess. So there's a little bit of work that has to be done with protecting the silva cell when they pull it out. There's some new dirt that has to come in, some mulch. So that's all going to be taken care of as part of this agreement.
Will this also be paid for out of the endowment fund?
That is the intent, yes. It fits within the scope of the
Scope.
fund statement, yes.
Do we know what happened to the tree, why it died?
We haven't done any kind of testing on it to determine why it died. It's the only one in that whole plaza that has died, so again, it's not indicative.
Okay.
We don't think of any major flaw in the species or anything else of that nature, so.
And there's no warranty or anything like that on the tree?
We're past.
Past the warranty.
Past the warranty on the plant material, yes.
Okay.
This tree, I think, just died this spring, or this past summer.
Ready?
Anything else?
No.
Is there public comment?
Jane Kinsey with Watchdogs. What kind of a tree? A deciduous tree or a evergreen?
Deciduous tree, I couldn't tell you the exact variety or hybrid off the top of my head, but I could find that out if you'd care to know.
Okay. And pretty large size?
Yes, it is.
But you don't know why it died.
We did not conduct any kind of testing on to why the tree died. No.
And the warranty was how long?
Typically, warranties on plant material is 1 year.
1 year.
Mhm.
And it was over that then?
Yes, yeah, this tree would be
4 or 5
about
years.
4 or 5 years old now.
Okay. And do you see any others that are having problems?
We haven't noticed any other widespread
Okay.
issues, no.
So this isn't a ash borer?
It is not an ash tree, no.
Okay.
I believe it's some kind of toffee tree, but I couldn't tell you off the top of my head.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else?
Ready for a motion?
Yep.
Move this.
Second. Call the roll, please.
Eskridge?
Yes.
Claire?
Yes. Okay, the next meeting date is November 29, Thursday, at 2:30 here in City Council. Does that work for you, Carl?
Does?
Me as well. Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second. Call the roll.
Eskridge?
Yes.
Claire?
Yes. Thank you.